Welcome to the Outsmart Burnout podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Zaria Rubin, a functional medicine doctor, an international speaker, and a burnout badass because I've been there myself. After walking away from my own high-stress medical career, I discovered how to break free from burnout to reclaim my passion, purpose, and joy. And now I'm here to help you do the same. From science-backed tips to time-saving hacks, and hopefully some aha moments that just might change your life. So sit back, relax, and let's do this. Today's guest, Sally Bisbee, is a certified life coach, an entrepreneur, and mom of 3 who is passionate about helping busy working moms break free from overwhelm. Through her coaching practice, organizing services, and custom crafting business, Sally empowers moms to create calm, intentional routines that actually work without the guilt. She's here to share how we can simplify motherhood and reclaim our time, energy, and peace of mind. I don't know about you all, but I certainly need a dose of that today. And pretty much every day when you've got small-ish kids at home. So welcome, Sally, to the Outsmart Burnout podcast. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about how you got started in all of this. What inspired you to coach moms and what really led you down this path of simplifying and trying to help moms deal with overwhelm? I'm guessing there might be a personal story behind it.
Maybe a personal story. Yes. So, little background on me. I have 3 kids. They're 22, 9, and 6. So big gap.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Hopefully the 22-year-old helped out a bit when they
she
were little.
does. It's a girl, thank God. So she's been very helpful. Yes. She's off at college right now, though she graduates this weekend, which is
Goodness, congratulations.
yeah,
That's
thank you.
crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. I have a kindergartner and one graduating from college. So it's a crazy year. Like you're mind blown a little bit, but I
Boy,
love it. It's I
you
always tell people
you've
like,
seen it all, done it
yep,
all.
yep, life didn't happen as planned, but I have an awesome life and I love every moment of it. So yeah, so I had my oldest when I was 22 in college and single, not planned. Best thing that ever happened to me. Um, Life happens, right? Things happen and she's amazing. And I always tell her like she's the reason I met my now husband and now she has a brother and sister and my husband adopted her and it's just it's
That's
an
so
awesome it's an
amazing.
awesome thing. So yeah, so that's a little bit of my mom journey. So I've been a mom for a long time. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 11 years or so. I started my craft business about 11 years ago and really just started that as something to occupy my time. I don't do well sitting still. I have a lot of energy. I like to be productive. And so I started just creating stuff. It was kind of my happy escape of making stuff and started making stuff as gifts for people and stuff like that. So that
Wow.
business
What kind of crafts do you do?
cups with words.
So
So
customized.
customize, like anything that you can put words on. So I do a lot of shirts, a lot of birthday shirts, or people are taking family vacation, or shirts with company logos. Right now, I'm adding names on the back of all the baseball jerseys of local baseball teams because it's spring here in Minnesota. Um, so yeah, so just I make signs and cups and shirts, and people will send me something like, "Can you make this?" I'm like, I never have before, but sure, I'll make that. Like, so
Wow.
it's super fun. It's super
I'm
fun.
always in awe of that because I wear many hats, but crafty, I'm really not so
Sure.
crafty. I love doing art and stuff and being creative, but I am just no good at crafting. I don't know.
And that's all right.
I
Yeah.
need to take a crafting class.
Yeah. I know people ask me that. They're like, do you teach them? I'm like, I don't know if I'm not a teacher. That's what I always tell people. Like, I don't know that I'm a teacher. So I make stuff. My dad's a very like do it yourself person. So I've always had that personality of like, I can figure this out on my own. So that started for the last 8 years. I ran an in-home daycare. So when my second
Goodness.
when my second was born, I quit corporate to stay home and do daycare. An adventure to say the least. Most people are like, I don't know how you did daycare. I said, I don't know either, but
You turned your motherhood journey and being a mom and you could sort of be a stay-at-home mom and run a business
yeah,
at the same time. So it's kind of genius in a
it
way.
is. It really is. And I um really made it work for me. I got to the point where I only worked Monday through Thursday, so I didn't work Fridays, so I had a day to like take my kids to do stuff that wasn't on a weekend or just stuff like that. I got by the time I was done, I had shortened hours. I worked like 8 to 4:30, so like easy hours, and I only took 4 kids. And so it was
Beautiful.
about being home with my kids and I got really good at screening families and have like the most amazing daycare families who I'm still super close with and still keep in touch with, even though I no longer do that. And so fast forward to where we are now. I knew that this past fall, my youngest would be starting kindergarten. And so I always knew that when she hit kindergarten, I would be done with daycare. And so, probably almost 2 years ago now, I started to really like, okay, so what next? Like, what do I do when she goes back to school? I'm a super independent person. And so I knew that I needed to do something. I needed to work. My husband works and is supportive of whatever I do, but I knew that I wasn't going to just stay home and do nothing while my kids were off at
Girl,
school.
same.
Yep. Yeah, like, I used to tell people, like, I'd be a stay-at-home mom in a heartbeat if my husband made millions where I could just spend and do whatever I wanted every day, but it's not our life yet. And so anyways, I one night scrolling through my phone came across this idea of life coaching, and I was like, "My goodness, I didn't even know that was a thing," and started reading and researching, and I was like, this is 100% what I meant to do. So I went to school to be a psychologist. And yes, I mean, since I was 12, I was like, I'm going to be a psychologist. I want to help people. Like, my whole life mission is on to help people. How do I help people live a better life, be happier, all those things. And then went to college for it and realized that I didn't think I could actually listen to people complain about their problems all day, every day.
It's tricky. I almost went into psychology and psychiatry as well because I'm really drawn to it.
Yeah.
I think I'm just really drawn to helping people and wanting to inspire people to really be their best and solve problems.
Yes. Yeah. And so when I came across this idea of coaching, I was like, my goodness, this is what I want to do. And the premise of coaching too is really coaching is much more forward looking, whereas counseling and psychology and stuff is a lot of dealing with past, right? Which is important. We have
Mhm,
to deal with our past
mhm.
a lot of times to move forward. But I'm the kind of person I always tell people like I don't make excuses of like I was a single mom for 11 years, but I've never been like, oh, I was a single mom. That's why my life is like this. It's like, no, I was a
Mm,
single mom. I made the best of it. We had a great life. I have a supportive family. I was blessed with opportunities. I bought a house when it was just me and my daughter by myself. I did all these things that I made the best of what I had. And so I think, I'm always like, how can I keep making my life better? Right? What changes can I make? What things can I do to make my life better? And so I love that about coaching is that that's kind of the premise is looking forward of that. And so the why moms, right? So now so then I figure out coaching and it's like, well, who do you want to coach? Like, well, my heart and my passion is moms, right? We know as
yep.
moms that we are very bad at taking care of ourselves, that we're constantly putting other people's needs first, right? And so, I always tell people a few years ago when my kids were really about 2, 5, and 17, I was in the throes of like little kid years where my 2-year-old was just becoming super annoying to her 5-year-old brother and causing fights and taking his toys and that kind of stuff. And then I had a 17-year-old who I love dearly, but she was in the throes of like high school drama, emotions, all that. And she needed me in a whole different way than these guys needed me.
I can't even imagine. It's like you have to clone yourself.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And I just remember waking up and just feeling I always tell my husband, I'm like, I felt like I was drowning. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was meant to be a mom. Like this is my whole life purpose is to be a mom. And I would wake up feeling like I was drowning and I was behind for the day already and I could never get caught up. And honestly, I just wasn't happy. And so it was around that time where I started what I called Operation Happy. And I was like, okay, the only person that is in charge of my life and how I feel and my happiness is me. And so I have to change something. My kids are still going to be here and I love them dearly, but they suck it out of you sometimes, right? Like they just
Mhm.
do. Like,
Yep, that's the
they,
reality of life.
yep, they're going to need me. But so I need to figure out what's going to make me happy, knowing I'm still going to deal with some of the stuff that's maybe bringing me down a little bit. Kids fighting, the older daughter needing me for stuff that was heavy on certain days. And so I literally just started by making a list in my phone of the things that like make me happy. What makes me happy? What fills my cup? Things like getting outside for a walk every day, moving my body. I'm not a big, like, I don't go to the gym. It's not my thing, but I exercise every day. And for me, it's mostly walks, making sure I do that. Having one night out a week with friends. Like, I'm super extroverted. My cup is filled being around people I love. And so making that a priority, making sure to find that time to craft. I ran a business, so I already do that, but there's a lot of like crafting that like I'd like to do for myself that I don't make time for because I run a business and I make orders. And so just those things that really filled my cup, and I just was like, "Okay." And then another big factor of it was talking to my husband and letting him know how I felt, and it was a lot of, you know, "I feel like I'm drowning. I know I'm taking on too much." My husband is amazing, very helpful, all those things, but there was a lot of things that I was just doing because 'cause I'm the mom and you feel like you're supposed to and all those things, and so, again, a lot of this was just born out of, like, feeling this way, and in that moment, I was like, I can't keep living this way, right? I got 18 more
Mm,
years, 16 more years until the youngest, God willing, goes off to college and is out of here for a little bit. I'm like, I can't live this way every day. So what changes do I need to make? And so that was really where my signature method is called the simplify method. And it's really just about simplifying your life. How do you get rid of unnecessary stress out of your life that you don't need?
mm.
Commitments, schedule, things that are in your life that you don't need, physical clutter. We're a pretty like simplistic family. Like we don't have clutter around. I'm super type A and I run a professional organizing
Can
business.
you
So
come to my house?
yes, I would love to. Hopefully you
Yes,
live someplace warm and tropical.
I love this, and I really wanna dive into your method and everything, but I wanna take a moment to take a step back because I think this is so important for our listeners and for so many moms out there who maybe are struggling and don't realize it. It sounds like you were sort of functioning as a mom because you had to. You were kind of on autopilot, and then you suddenly realized or slowly realized that you were drowning and suffocating, that you couldn't continue in this way. Was there a moment, was there an incident, or was there some sort of wake-up call that forced you to kind of snap out of it? Because I know for a lot of women, it's just like the frog in the boiling water. And I always use this analogy that, if you put a frog in boiling water, what's it going to do? Well, it's going to jump out,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But if you put a frog in boiling water and you turn the heat up very, very slowly, 1 degree at a time, what's going to happen to that frog?
Yeah.
It's cooked, it's boiled.
Yeah, very
So I
much.
think as moms, we are often the frog in the boiling water.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes something to snap us out of it, to wake us up from our intensely busy life and schedule. So what was it for you that really was that aha moment?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know that like I'll listen to people and be like, "Oh, it was that day and I had laundry everywhere and I remember my kid yelled at me." And I'm like, I don't think I have a moment in time. Like I can remember waking up out of bed one day and like looking down at my phone and being like, "My gosh, I have to do this all again." It almost felt like I was stuck in like Groundhog Day, right? You just feel you wake up and you're on autopilot. You just go through the day and I feel like I had really lost myself in being a mom. I was so on autopilot that like my whole mission also was like, how do I wake up and then get to that end of the day so I can get these kids to bed and be done. And I was like, that's
You're like, wait, is this
mm,
my life where I'm trying to get to the end of it really
yes,
quickly?
and
No, that doesn't make
it's
sense.
not the kind of mom I want to be. And
Yeah, because you want to
I
enjoy those magical, special times because they go so fast. My daughter's 11 right now. It's
yes,
so fast,
yes, and I always tell
but yet
people
you're
that
just trying to get through it.
yeah, and I always tell people I'm blessed with the perspective of having that 22-year-old and the little kids, right? time goes fast. And so it's great in moments where we're having rough spots and you're like, okay, this is just a phase. We'll get through it. She'll be
But
in
they say
college soon.
the days are long, but the years are short. I
Yes. And
always add the
so,
days and nights are long.
yes, yes, yes. And so it was really just that wake up of I was like, I can't keep living this way. And I can't wait until my kids are out of the house before I figure out my happy again. Where do I find my happy? Where do I get rid of this just constant feeling like I'm stressed? Like, I don't want to be stressed. And we know, right? Stress isn't good for us for health wise and stuff. And I was
Oh,
really, really young when I had my first, and then was 37 when I had my last. And so, part of, I always tell people, like, for me, turning 40 was my midlife crisis of I wanna be a healthy old person. I have young kids. God willing, it's a long time before I have grandkids, but I wanna be around for 'em, and so what do I need to do to take care of myself, to be
sure.
healthy? And part of that is not having a high stress level all the time. And so it really was just that, like, awareness of, like, "Okay, I
I
gotta
think
change
this is
this."
really important because, like you said, for some people, there isn't some major crisis or some
Yeah,
major moment. And I think it's great for our listeners to hear that, yeah, sometimes it just sneaks up on you. But if you find yourself waking up one morning and suddenly you're turning 40,
yeah,
that's kind of a wake up call. And also just that feeling of, "Oh, I have to do this again
yeah,
every day."
yes,
And then you feel like, I just can't do this anymore. Or
yeah,
this is my life now.
yeah,
That's
and
your sign. That's
yes,
your moment. That's your
yes,
wake up call. Doesn't have to be big or loud, but there is a voice in you saying, "This is not right. This is not what I signed up for."
yeah, and life shouldn't feel that way, right? I mean,
Life
like,
shouldn't feel this
life
way.
isn't supposed to be,
I thought it was like, maybe this is what adulting feels like.
yeah,
Maybe this
it
is what
does
having
sometimes.
a job and a life and it's just being absolutely miserable and feeling like you can't get out of bed every day. And then I was like, no, I can't actually be what life is about. And of course it isn't. And we do deserve to find more happiness and joy. And so, okay, so now let's go back to that moment where you're just on your phone and you're making a list and then this idea comes to you for your signature simplify method. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and so, like I said, it was really about I made myself 2 lists. I was like, "Okay, one is Operation Happy. What are the things that make me happy, that fill my cup outside of being a mom?" I love being with my kids, and anyone who knows me, I'm, like, the most active mom you'll meet. I take my kids, we go do something, like, every day in the summer. The zoo, the pool, the water park, we go do stuff all the time. Like, I love that part of being a mom, but I was like, "But being a mom is a huge part of me, but it isn't who I am. It's just part of who I am, right?" And I think as moms, we so often wrap our identity around, I'm a mom. And you're like, yeah, you're a mom, but you're also Sally and a wife and a friend and a daughter and all those things that are so important. And so I made that big list of things that make me happy outside of being a mom and started incorporating those into my day. And then I made a second list of what are the things that are causing me stress? Like, what is stressing me out, right? Keeping up on housework, doing laundry every day, getting the kids ready for school, making sure, that mental load that us as moms, right, we always take on too.
Gosh.
What appointment do we have coming up? We live in Minnesota. We have switch of seasons every like 2 weeks here. It's horrible, but you're like, do they have clothes for
Oh,
the next?
you're talking to a Canadian girl here.
Yes,
I
okay,
know.
so yeah, we're basically Canadian
And
here
I
in
live in
Minnesota.
Portland, Oregon now, which let me tell you, it's like
Okay.
4 seasons in one day kind of thing.
Yes. Yes. And so it's just that constant thing. And so I made a list of all my stresses. Now I always tell people there's some stresses that aren't going away, right? Laundry. You have to do laundry every day. There's no I mean, maybe there's getting around it if you are super wealthy and you want to pay somebody to do it, all the power to you. It's not reality for most people. And so I tell people it's a big accept what is part of your life, right? Figure out what it is. I always tell people as simple as it is and as corny as it may sound, like my thing I preach is like do one load of laundry every day. I rarely do laundry on the weekends because I do one load of laundry every day. And we're a family of 5, but my daughter's off at college, so there's 4 of us. And so all 4 clothes usually equal one laundry or one load. And so I do one load every day. I do my towels on a set day every week. So when I wake up on Tuesday, I know that it's Towel Tuesday and that I wash my towels. and I do
I
my
love
sheets
this.
on Monday. So
It
it's
means Taco Tuesday, but we're gonna
yes.
change it.
Oh, believe me.
Folks, we're changing it. It's Towel Tuesday.
Yeah. Don't get rid of
Because
Taco Tuesday, though. I'm a big fan of that. So towels and Taco Tuesday. I mean, that I don't think it get much better. Fresh towels are great, and then tacos make every day
it's
good.
your
So
reward. I love it.
yes, but it's really about that's one of the things that I preach is really just creating simple routines and habits that take the mental load out of the things that we have to do. Right, having those set days that you do, then you can wake up and you're like, it's Monday. On Mondays, I change sheets. So I know on Mondays that happens versus when was the last time I changed sheets? I can't remember even. And so doing that. And then, again, when I made that list, there was a lot of things of, okay, why I'm home. So there's hard. When I was doing daycare, it was very easy to do laundry because our family room is attached to our laundry room. My kids would play. I would do laundry. It was easy to do. But now I'm home, but I work all day long, and my husband is out of the house and he works all day long. But it doesn't mean it should fall on me just because I'm home all day, right? And so one of the big things that happened for us was we sat down and just had a real heart to heart. And I was like, here's the deal. Like, this is our house and our family, and I need to stop doing it all. And he's like, yep, you do. But I also, I love him, but I'm pretty type A and I like to do things my way. So he's also like, well, if you're doing it, I'm not going to step on your toes. So it's a fine line, right? But it was really about figuring out what things I could hand off to him too that he could start doing. And so now I do all the laundry. He puts it all away, which is the worst part anyways.
Yeah,
And so it's
the
so great.
folding the laundry, the putting it away. I mean, I won't even talk about our laundry room, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Well,
just
you're not alone,
if
believe
you
me.
need clean clothes, you gotta forage. That's
Sure.
kinda how it
Sure.
works.
They're there. But I always tell people, and it's one of those things too, laundry, if you really think about it, starting a load of laundry, switching a load of laundry, folding it and putting it away, maybe at tops takes 20 minutes of your time. It really doesn't. It's just the dauntingness of thinking about it. And you're like,
Mental load of it and the keeping track and this it's like, why as women, I think that we struggle a lot with the mental load of, like, taking care of kids and housework and all of that when we may be succeeding in other areas of our lives, and why do you think that is that this is so taxing on us?
yeah, I mean, I think as moms we take on more than we should. I think it's within us. I'm one of those people who I love that men and women are different.
Mhm.
I have a huge faith, so I think God created men and women to be different on purpose, and there's something huge there, which is great. But men just some, I will say some, but the majority of them, their mind just doesn't work like us as women. It doesn't, we're natural caretakers. We're natural. We have to think of those things, and then also to that side, and to my husband's defense, I say a lot of times like I just do all the things so he doesn't have to. So why would he even think like, oh, I should do that? Well, Sally just takes care of that. So why? And so again, communication, I think, in many marriages is a downfall. And so it's a big thing of
Yep.
like, my husband doesn't know my needs unless if I tell him. And so we sit
Yeah, and I
down
think that
every
that
couple of months.
unspoken, that mental load and just all of that unpaid labor that we do
Mhm.
without it just goes sort of unnoticed as, well, it's just there in the background
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
oh, what is she even doing? Oh, wait a second. She's doing everything.
Yeah. And they don't, I mean, I think they know it. My husband is very aware of the stuff I do and very appreciative, but I also think there's a lot of stuff that we do that they just don't know because they don't have to, right? I'm like,
And all the stuff with the kids of like keeping track of, today was picture day at school. So I had to keep track of that and remind her and be like, hey, did you take a shower? You gotta get your outfit, you gotta get ready, all this stuff. And does he know it's picture day? No, of course not. It's teacher appreciation week. I was cooking last night. I made them a strawberry rhubarb crumble because we're very appreciative
amazing.
of our teachers. We
I
have an
love it.
incredible school, but it's like, of course I did that. I don't think
Yeah.
they don't even know
No, and
most of the time.
they
And
don't have to, right? Because we
it's
do it.
frustrating. Yeah. And so when you're doing all of these things and you're trying to run a business, you're trying to be a great mom, you're just trying so hard. The last thing on our list is usually ourselves. And so I'm impressed that you were able to recognize that and say, I need to start making a list of the things that make me happy and bring me joy as a human being, as an individual outside of motherhood. Now, a lot of moms struggle with this. We've had guests on here. We had an incredible guest, Paige O'Connell, about the mental load. We had an incredible guest, Mari Wilner, about mom guilt. And so we've touched on these topics a bit about why is it so hard for women to put ourselves first sometimes or ever?
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Also, one of the things I go back to, and it's funny because I was on a podcast just a week or two ago and we talked about this, was really we were raised, my mom is amazing, one of my, like, best friends, I love her, but she was a stay-at-home mom. My dad owned a business, he worked 70 hours a week, my mom was home with us, so my mom did all the things, and so my example of growing up was that the mom takes care of everything, right? She cooks,
Hmm.
she cleans, she raises the kids, everything. Now, life is a lot different from when my parents grew up versus where I am now of most women work as well, right? And now it's that we're so used to, like, the mom is the one that raises the kids and does all the things, but that was back in past times where a lot of times those moms didn't work and they had the ability to do it, and even on that note, being a stay-at-home mom does not mean that you should have to do all the things, and I'm not saying that at all because I do think that
Right.
that should still be split, whether being a mom is a full-time job in and of itself, and so I think it's a lot of just the way our brains are wired and the way society tells us things and all that stuff, and I just think that as women, we're just horrible about taking care of ourselves, but I
How
think
do you
that it's
coach
so
the
important.
moms in your coach moms to learn to prioritize themselves without feeling guilty or like they're bad moms?
Yeah. So a few things. Well, I always tell moms, like, start small. Well, I always laugh because one of my coaching clients who really struggled with this, I was like, start small, like just plan a dinner with a girlfriend. Have it be like 5 to 7. Your husband can take care of the kids easily. You could still be home for bedtime, like easy, whatever. A few days later, she called me and she's like, I booked a trip to Florida with my girlfriend. I was like, oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
was like,
I
well,
love
that's a
that.
little different
I
than
love it. Yeah. Swim in the
yes.
hinge. Then they suddenly are like, hey, I can take a mile. It's
For
okay.
sure. And so,
It's
she's
that
one of my
permission. It's that
it is,
permission.
and that's what I was gonna say. One of the things that she always says to me is, "You gave me the permission I needed to take care of myself." And I was like, "Yes, I think sometimes as women, we just need to be told, like, you can and you should take care of yourself, right?" We talk a lot about, like, be that example you wanna be for your kids, right?
Mm.
Like, I wanna teach my daughters that they 100% deserve to take care of themselves, but I also wanna teach my son that when he has a wife at some point, that she 100% deserves to take care of herself, and that we are better people when we do it. I also love to tell people my husband has a very active life outside of me. He hunts, he fishes, he does all sorts of stuff, which is part of what made me fall in love with him because I'm super independent. And so I love a guy that also has stuff
Yeah.
that he loves outside of me. But I always tell people, let me tell you, he doesn't feel 1 ounce of guilt when he goes fishing on a Saturday,
No,
not 1 ounce of
they
guilt.
don't. No.
And it makes him no less bad of a dad. He's an amazing dad and incredibly active with our kids, and my kids love him so much. He feels no guilt. I'm like, "Why do I feel guilt?" And he doesn't. And my husband, it's not,
I
and
think we're just
unfortunately,
hardwired for it.
there are some husbands who make their wives feel guilty, and I can't do anything about that. I don't know. My husband is not like that. My husband does not make me feel guilty. He's always like, go whenever you want." And so I'm like, why do I feel guilty? And especially like me, like I built my career off being home with my kids. I stayed home and did daycare, which was not my dream, but it was my dream to be with my kids. And so I did it. Like I can leave them here or there and they're going to be fine. And I think it sets such a good example too. So I think a lot of times it really comes down to giving moms that permission and just reminding them how important it is when we take care of ourselves, we just show up as a better mom and a better wife and all those things, which is such a good thing.
So, what is one small thing that a mom who's listening today who doesn't feel like she's prioritizing herself or doesn't feel like she's really has a life outside of motherhood, what's a small thing that maybe she could try doing today? Now, you said the dinner, book a dinner with a girlfriend. I think
Yeah.
that's genius because it is
Yeah.
small and it is just like it's 2 hours. You can
Yeah.
do it.
Yes. And if, it's always tell people like if leaving your husband home to do bedtime stresses you out because they're not good at it or what, like
The
have
kids
an early
won't,
dinner.
the kids refuse it. Yeah.
For sure, and I get it, not all kids are great about that, and so your husband's perfectly capable of being home with your kids for a couple hours, and he should be, and they're your kids, so I think that's a good reminder, but I think it's just, that reminder to start small, right? Make that list, make a list of things that make you happy, things like, do you wanna read a book? Do you want to take a walk? Is, sitting out on the porch for 10 minutes with no one talking to you important? Or, things like that, and start by and scheduling it in your day. I always tell people like if you schedule a doctor's appointment, you're going to go to that doctor's appointment. You don't just skip it, right? So
Right.
scheduling that time into your day. I mean, I take a walk every single day. It is a non-negotiable for me. I do it every single day. It took me a while to get there, but it's one of those things that I started with a 10-minute walk
Yeah.
every day and now
Gotta
I
be
take
on
a
the
half hour
schedule,
walk.
though. That's so true
It
because
does. It
the
does.
time will fill up, but if you block that time, then you will work around it.
Yeah.
You'll find the time, but it'll what do they say? Like, the time expands to the task will take as long as the time that you have for it, so
Yes.
it'll suck up whatever space there is, but if you protect that time, then
Yes.
you'll get the other stuff done, but I think
Yes.
we don't always think that way. Okay, so I
Yes.
love that. So I love this
Yeah.
list concept because I think a lot of moms are not doing this, and what I experience when I work with folks is they often say to me, "I don't I don't know what I want. I don't know what I like. I don't know what makes me happy because it's been so long
Yes.
since they prioritize themselves." I was like, "Well, girl, you better take some time and take a step back and go back to your childhood. Go back to the things that you loved when you were a kid or when you didn't have all of these pressures and obligations and demands. And if you had all the time in the world, what would you do? And if money wasn't a factor, like you shouldn't just be doing things in your free time that somehow, make money or that are useful. These should be
Yes.
things that really fill your soul and that are just about you and about taking that time and resetting your
Yes.
nervous system as well so you can show up so that you can be a better mom so you can be less frazzled and on edge and stressed out all the time. And I
Yeah.
think that it's a feed forward system, but we have to first take that time and prioritize figuring out what is it that we really want or really enjoy.
Yes.
So I love this concept. So let's make a list. Let's make an appointment with girlfriends. I want to shift gears a little bit to talk about your Simplify method. And I want to talk a little bit about routines and sustainable routines of things. I'm very brilliant at very many things. Routines ain't one of them. So I would love all of your insight and knowledge about how do you create routines that serve you as a mom. Now you mentioned a little bit about sheets on Monday, towels on Tuesday, and one load of laundry every day. I love that.
Yes.
What are some other ways that you use routines and systems to simplify
Yes.
in your methods?
Yeah, so many ways. And one of the things I love too is really teaching my kids the same things, right? Because I think again as moms, we do so many things for them and it's a good thing. When my kids come home, it's like, okay, you got home from school but the backpack, right? Now take your water bottle and your snack containers, those go on the counter. So it is, there's this idea
Your
called
kids actually do that.
they do.
Wonderful.
They do. Not always, and
Oh.
sometimes it takes reminders, but we're working on it, right? Because I think it's important for them to learn that thing too. We do as a family, we do what we call 5-minute cleanup at the end of the day. My husband would be like, 5-minute cleanup, let's go. And we all take whatever got brought out to our, as you can see, we're in our, we have open living room and stuff. And so if the kids brought toys out or whatever, those go back into their rooms and get put away. Their clothes that they took off to change into pajamas go into the laundry basket. Any dishes that are out go into the sink. Just those things to reset our house at the end of the day so that we wake up to a fresh house.
5-minute cleanup is more like 1 hour cleanup, and it's
I,
I
I
have
know.
to start implementing this.
Yes, and it's easy for us to do because we live in a house that is always clean to start with, right? So I tell people it's harder if you're not super type A like me and have a like my house is pretty spotless at all times. It's easy to keep it clean, but
Yeah. Like I said, I need you to come over.
I love it. I love it. So simple things like that though, even if your house isn't at a place where you have that great baseline, right? So
Yeah,
what
we're
did
more
we
of like an organized chaos situation minus the organized part.
Sure. Hey, and that's all right. You have to do what works for you
I got a lot of
and
ADHDers in my family,
sure, and that's all right too,
aside
but then
from
there's
me. So I'm the one picking everything up.
there you go. Then it's too like, "Okay, hey, what did you take out tonight? You used that cup, let's get the cup in the sink. Let's take the stuff that each person in the family, what are you responsible that you took out? Put it away." Let's start at least with a baseline of, "Oh, we took out in that moment, let's put it away when we're done." Things like our dishwasher gets ran every night. We make sure it's ran every night. Also, my husband puts that away in the morning because I got rid of that one. I was like, I'm emptying the dishwasher every morning and packing the kids' backpack and making sure they have snack and water bottle and all this stuff is like, why am I also doing the dishwasher when he can very easily do that? I'll take care of the backpack because we know, right? Picture day, my kid had hat day today, those things that I'm going to make sure not to forget because I don't want to send my kid to school and let him miss out on the fun things. Just those simple routines that, and really a concept that has worked for me. Habits come really easily to me, so it's hard always when I'm like, okay, how do I teach people these things? Habit stacking is a really good way where you take something that you already naturally do and add something to it, right? So
Yeah.
at night, you know, that's probably not the like when you start your coffee pot in the morning, you make coffee, and that's your indication that the dishwasher needs to be emptied. So, okay, you empty the dishwasher. The second you wake up out of bed, that's when you know you're going to make your bed. Again, making your bed takes like 2 seconds. A lot of people don't do it, but I think it's a good way to start your day. It makes your house feel together. And we know that physical environment adds to our stress level and all that stuff when there is clutter around us. And so just those simple little things that you're like, okay, what is something that I already do that's habitual and I can add something new to that, you know, makes it become a habit. Again, the laundry thing's a good thing. Finding days of the week to do certain things is a good thing. I also live by reminders in my phone. If I didn't have reminders beeping at me at all times a day, I'd probably forget a lot of stuff.
So do you have any special apps or anything, or do you just put stuff on your, like, Google Calendar or your
Yep, I just put stuff in my use it on my iPhone calendar and I set where it actually like beeps and reminds you. So I'll have stuff. So it just beeps and reminds me, this on Tuesday. I think I finally deleted it out because I've done it forever, but I used to literally pop up, wash towels. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right, it's Tuesday.
Oh my gosh,
One
yeah.
of the big things I tell moms that I work with a lot of time is the power of doing a brain dump, right? Which seems so like
Mhm.
simple, but it is literally as moms and women, I think in general, we just keep so much in our head at all times, right? And so
Yep.
it is just sitting down with a piece of paper and taking everything that's in your head and just writing it down. We've got teacher appreciation week and picture day, and she needs new clothes for the summer, and so and so's birthday party's coming, and that's right, my project is due on whatever
You just
day.
described my life.
Yes, all those things, right? Believe me. And so writing it all down and then really looking at it and like, okay, what are the top 3 priorities? What things like have to be done? What are the next 3 things? And that are what are like 3 easy things that you could just cross off and do in a minute and be done? But I think for me, I use the reminders on my phone a lot because I don't have to keep it in my head. I'm like, it'll beep. When it's time to do it, it'll beep. And then it just takes it out of my head and puts it on that. I also live with on my desk. I
Love
have
it.
like a big desk calendar I use.
Yeah.
Anything that I can take out of my head and write down and have there for me, it
All up
just
here for me, which is why,
clears that
yeah,
mental
because you
load.
get
Yeah.
you get frazzled with that mental load, and it
Sure.
really causes this background level of stress and anxiety that contributes to burnout. And I think, this is the whole point of this show is we're trying to find ways to outsmart burnout. And I always coach folks to do one thing less, which is my method, which is like it's part of the simplify concept of
Yes.
like all of these things necessary. Are all of these things important? Do all of these things have to get done today, this week, at all?
Yeah.
Or can you really prioritize and triage things and delete, delegate, delay,
Yeah.
and just really prioritize the things that matter so that you're doing less every day. And I love this concept of like creating these routines that are more automatic where you don't have to think about stuff. Where you're not because that it's the thinking about it and the scheduling and the strategizing and the telling people what to do part that is stressful as well. Like, if you have to then tell your husband, hey, can you unload the dishwasher? Whereas if he just knows that's his task, then that takes one more thing off of your plate. So
Very much so. And just on that note, because my husband, I used to say, "Hey, can you pick the kids up from school tomorrow?" And he would say, "Yeah, well, just remind me tomorrow." And for years I did. And then I finally said, "No, you have a phone that you can literally say, 'Hey, remind me at two
in
o'clock.
your
I need to pick the
calendar.
kids up.'" I'm like,
Hey, what is it with husbands thinking that we're iCal or Google Calendar? Like,
"Yeah,
we're
no,
not.
no,
My job is not to serve as a reminder or a delegator.
yeah,
It's like, put it in
yeah,
your calendar, set a reminder,
very much." But it's also learning
100%.
that you have to be okay with finally, I mean, for me, it was hard to finally be like, "No,
Push back a
I
little
am
bit.
not your reminder. You
Yeah,
are a grown man. You can remember. Nobody tells me it's time to do the laundry or pick the kids up or pack the bags. I just do it
right. Like,
because
we
I
don't
just
have
do it."
anyone telling us. We don't have
Nope.
anyone reminding us except, our phones.
Yes, which is how I live, so it's good. You do that, but that's what I tell them, like, "I don't need to remind you." So I think a lot of
Yeah.
that, again, with my whole simplify method, it's very common to the or very similar to the one last thing, I always tell people, like, it is about eliminating anything unnecessary from your life, right? Schedules, commitments, things that we're pouring our time and energy that don't deserve our time and energy. I always talk to moms of, like, what things are causing you stress? What things can you get rid of, right? There's things that you have to do, but there's a lot of stuff that us as moms that we do that isn't adding anything to our life. It's not necessary. We shouldn't be doing it.
We
And
have
so
to do
getting rid
more
of
of
all
the
those
things
things
that are causing us stress and more of the things that are bringing us joy because I think we kind of have it backwards sometimes.
so much, so much.
Why don't you let our folks know where, if they're curious about the simplified method, if they want to work with you, if they need help organizing, simplifying, finding some systems that work, need a little inspiration, a little coaching, where can they find you and what sorts of things are coming up for you that folks should
Yeah.
check out?
Yeah. So my website is simplysallyco.com, and that has all three of my businesses on there. You can
Oh,
also,
that's right. Yes, if they want to buy some amazing
yes,
crafts and customizable
yes,
items, they can check
those
that
are
out.
on there as well. Yep. And I ship, so we can do that.
Awesome.
Yes. And so I'm on Facebook and Instagram for all three. So Simply Sally Coaching, Simply Sally Organizing, and Simply Sally Creations. And on the website, there's all sorts of free resources, cheat sheet of all sorts of time saving hacks, like 10-minute clean routine checklist that I use of just 5 simple things to do in the morning and at night to help keep the house running on autopilot. So good free resources on there.
Amazing. All right. So hopefully we've inspired you to simplify your systems and give yourself permission to not do it all. If this episode spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend. And of course, leave us a review. It really does help the show reach even more women who are ready to outsmart burnout. So until next time, remember, burnout is not your destiny, it's your wake up call.